Hello, small business owners of South Florida. My name is Eva Diaz, and I am the founder and CEO of Phoenix Human Capital Solutions. And as a business advisor for people management and organizations, I do understand and have lots of empathy for the struggles that you are going through right now. And today I'm here to share with you a very inspiring story of two business owners here in South Beach that not only were able to thrive during these chaotic times of pandemic, but also grow their business and reopening very soon in a bigger and more beautiful space. Their secret, just one, their passion for what they do, their compassion, their empathy and generosity for those around them. I want you all to meet Peter Vauthy and Aaron Hammer, respectively chef owner and owner of Red the Steakhouse in South Beach. Part 1, Unveiling Their Passion. So, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having us today.
No, thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate you taking time in the midst of a complete renovation of your soon-to-be new place of your wonderful red restaurant. So that's really, really appreciated. So we moved here to Miami Beach in 2004, and we became customers of yours since you opened it up. And it's like, at least once a month we go to Red. And some weeks ago, my husband was walking the dog, and he came back and very, very sad because he told me, you know what? I think Red became a victim of the COVID because they closed. I was like, oh, no, that's not possible. He said yes, because there is some signs there. Apparently, it's a different restaurant. And I was like, I can't believe this. And these are times that I really hate everything that we're going through. I decided to take a very positive, approach for this COVID and pandemic thing. But then I was like, this is not fair. Why? And so on and so forth. So over the weekend, I happened to start reading local news, and there was this big article with you and talking about the reopening in here. And I was, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. This is great. And I told my husband, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. And I was like, they are even coming to a bigger place, and God bless them, because this seems to be even a better deal. So that's our relationship with the bread. And two things that I always say, you go to a restaurant and you become a customer if you really see two things, at least as a consumer: the food, the quality of the food, and the service, right? And that's something that you guys offered with, really, really high level.
Something that's always been missing from a lot of the restaurants in Miami is that.
That's why I said here, and consider that this is on the beach. I mean, this is an amazing accomplishment. And the consistency. I mean, we've been there since 2008, and we never ever got disappointed. And that's for you, because I think I want to say, I voted, but I want to say this with all the words because you deserve it. Now, let's start by, I know you've been all over in the press, but if you allow me to ask again, to introduce yourselves and tell me and probably my audiences about your background.
Aaron, go ahead.
No, you first, chef.
My name is Peter Vauthy. I'm the executive chef and partner with Aaron Hammer in this Red 2.0 that we're calling it. We tried to come up with a better name and just nothing stuck. But
Red Reboot.
I kind of took the long way to becoming a chef. I went to college and went to graduate school, and after that was working on some postgraduate work, and decided that it was not something I wanted to do all of a sudden. And I always had loved to cook. And to my father, who out there up in Maine right now, he'll love this. He always told me I should go to Cornell School of Hotel and Restaurant Management. Of course, when you're 18 and your father tells you to do something, you say no, because I didn't want to do it.
That's the
And
moment.
absolutely, and food has progressed and things like that. And when I got out of high school, it wasn't an option. You know, cooking was it was almost like it was a trade. It wasn't like the profession that it is now. Went to culinary school.
Not so sexy back then.
No, not at all. Still sometimes not so sexy, but after I was, debating whether I was going to, do this postgraduate work or PhD and whatever, and I was like, no, I can't, not for me. And I was in Washington, D.C. looking for a job, and I had interviewed with a senator to work on his staff, and his chief of staff came out, and he was probably my age, maybe a little bit younger, and said, we'll do nothing worthwhile with this guy for 3 years besides bring him coffee, and I was very, very distraught over that. Went by a culinary school, stuck my head in, and I immediately clicked with the chef and the owner of the school and the head chef there, and I decided that was what I was going to do, and I went home and moved a week later, and I have not looked back ever since. So I worked in the award-winning restaurant in D.C., and then I had moved to Cleveland, and the restaurant that I worked at there when I was running it was named one of the top 50 restaurants in the country by Gourmet Magazine when it was up and running. And then we opened up Red, and we got a lot of critical acclaim, and were named in a bunch of different magazines at the time. And then we opened up down here, and down here I really got the chance to take off with things. I was able to kind of run my own kitchen, and we have gotten every award, and we're one of the top 10 steakhouse in the country now. And that's where we kind of ended up. And as the things with my partners ebbed and flowed, and things didn't work out with them, just by chance, Aaron was down for his usual August run in Miami, and could see the look on my face of what was going on, and he says, "You need to talk." I said, "Yep, I'll see you tomorrow." And I kind of told him the whole story, and at that point, it was an immediate synergy that we could work something out here, and I could save Red from its situation, and that's what we spent the last 2 years doing. Now we're in a beautiful new facility, and I can't wait to get open here.
No, I was telling Aaron before you got here that by reading the story and the articles, it sounds like Red has a history, just like the name of my company, which is Phoenix. Has been reborn. Mm-hmm. But I believe that every time you get up again, you are stronger, right? It sounds like.
We're going to be very, very much stronger from what happened here. It was a very, very intense situation that I did not know what to do, and luckily for me, Aaron's skill set at the time was exactly perfect for what I needed, and that's what leads us to today, and even this conversation that it was talking about two people with two different skill sets that meshed together. That's what it was, and it was great. It was a great kind of meeting of the minds.
Yeah, I read an article that he sent to me this morning, and I was like, okay, the recipe for success in this case looks like a team of great chef and his staff, and a team specialized in transforming organizations, and the two together really is responsible for the success of this organization. Would you say this is accurate for Red?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I got from. I couldn't have been a better person at the right time for what Red South Beach needed. Maybe 2 years ago, right around 2 years ago, a loyal customer of the restaurant. My home on the beach is a couple blocks away at the courts, and we were going to Red all the time since it opened in 2008, and my wife has ties to Cleveland, so that made it that much more attractive. And some of the original investors in Red were lawyers from Cleveland in my business, which is corporate turnaround. And there I've been trained and actively practicing for 25 years. If being a chef was as sexy as it is now, back then I had a passion for food and hospitality at the time, but I was also very verbal. And my father's direction was, if you want to go to law school, I'll pay for it. So I said, done, went to law school, and have always joked that nothing better's come along until I got to really grow into an entrepreneur. And I was able to do that not only with the experience I had as a lawyer, but growing law firms, leading law firms, and also my day job really is to parachute into companies and help them solve their difficult financial issues out of court, or sometimes with the assistance of federal bankruptcy court or a state receiver. And that experience, along with, I have no passion or aptitude for golf. And a lot of lawyers, they entertain their clients at the golf course. I tended to entertain folks at restaurants. And so I got into the restaurant game a little bit, first as a limited partner, now as an operating partner. And I've been involved in maybe 6 or 7 restaurants in that capacity. So I came to it with sort of an understanding of how the business works. It's really not that complicated. You got to control your labor, you got to control your food costs, you need to make sure people come in the door, and you need to make sure they're happy when they leave. And with those simple rules and Peter's and my relationship, we've been able to make some hard decisions. And one of those hard decisions, which in retrospect is going to turn out not so hard because of all the work we had done to put us in a position to make the right decision about the direction of Red, and the facts just kept going against us. As you saw from the Turnaround Management Association article, the minute that the shutdown happened, Peter was all over it. He jumped on takeout and delivery, and we were a restaurant that did very little of that before, and basically overnight we had to change the business model, and that involved figuring out who was going to be on the team on the ground, who was going to promote, even who was going to do the deliveries. And we knew it wasn't going to be enough. So then Peter also, to his credit, said, I have a friend, he wants to start this program. They're going to call it Meals for Heroes Miami's, and we're going to try and serve meals to first responders and use local restaurants to get them a little bit of business. And wow, was that a success. It kept our back of the house team busy. It gave us more critical mass so that we could keep the back of the house and salary team together, doing takeout and the Meals for Heroes. Without the both, it would have been very, very challenging. And Peter has always been of the mindset that you can never close the door of a restaurant. Once you close the door of a restaurant, the probability of it reopening is low. And I haven't seen it. I haven't had the historical or institutional knowledge that Peter's had. And while we ultimately, being here in this location, is calling bullshit to that sort of philosophy, in this particular instance, it was like, okay, we survived the shutdown. We transitioned to online ordering. We have our butcher shop delivering on signature cuts of raw meat to the community. And then we open, the civil disturbances happen, the curfew happens. We were barely open 5 weeks, and we had to shut down at 9:30 at night for most of those days, and it was virtually impossible. And Red also had no outdoor space, so we weren't able to maximize that. And as you've seen from what's going on with the city on Washington, south of Fifth really hasn't been given any additional space to expand outdoor dining. It's all the restaurants that are north of Fifth. And so when July 17th came and Peter said the city's going to shut us down again indefinitely, we had done some legwork. We had gone around in April and May with our broker, Roland Ortiz from Worldwide Properties, Sotheby's now. Roland took us around to all the locations south of Fifth, and we looked at those locations really hard for could we make Red work here? And assuming the answer was yes, what's the market rent? And what's the market rent in a COVID type situation? Is there a market even? So we knew that if we went out to market, we could come up with some comparables that could help us with our existing landlord in the old space, sort of show them, hey, listen, we need some help here. And we weren't getting any help from the landlord. We weren't getting any help from the city, really. And now we were looking at being closed indefinitely for at least 6 weeks. And we found this beautiful space here. We negotiated very successful terms. We'll be here for at least 10 years. And then the challenge was transitioning as efficiently as we can, putting the right team in place to make this beautiful space Red's next home. And I love the reference to Phoenix from the Flames because Peter and I sort of both live that philosophy, that approach, the vivre for life. And people that know me joke about me, A, that I was raised by wolves, and B, that I have 9 lives. and I think, people that know Peter would probably comment the same. And so while we're similar in that respect, our skill sets are just perfectly meshed for each other right now. And we
Complementary.
and there are 2 more Reds still alive, down from 8 to maybe 3. And Greg Levy in Cleveland, Ohio. We're really aligned with him. We both want to do. All 3 of us want to do what's right for the brand, and that's why we're talking about additional concepts. The burger bar that we have a location at 6th and Washington in the Angler Hotel that will be open by this time next year. We're pretty confident, and just trying to make the most out of this opportunity. We are getting some federal money along the way. It clearly hasn't been enough. But we're both willing to take on the financial responsibility that we have to position the restaurant for where it needs to be in its next stage. And we've had support from friends and family, too. So thank you, friends and family. Hopefully we don't need too much of their support. But it's nice to know that we have support of the community with people like yourselves. And Peter's phone has been ringing off the hook, and the red line here has been ringing off the hook since the news came out. So just real excitement. We're excited. I don't think there's nerves at all because we're focused on our jobs, and we've done this. We've saved the restaurant out 2 or 3 times, and now we've been gifted this gorgeous place where we get to live our lives and share our lives with the community.